Hello, planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730.
My BFF Jill 730.
I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations as always. You've made your way to the Buffyngton Post.
You are invited!
Today it's time for the Buffyngton Post recap and review for Angel, Season 11, Issue number 7. I had actually recorded this episode several days ago, and I realize I'm like 2 weeks late, but what I really miss about Angel and Faith Season 10 is the fact that it came out on the first Wednesday of every month. You know, it was like 2 weeks away from Buffy. Like, I had space in my mind and in my spirit to like deal with the different issues of the Buffyverse book, but what I miss most of all about it coming out on the first Wednesday of the month is reaching into my super gay Buffy bag, because you know what time it is. Alright, so we've got two pretty good covers this month. One I like less than the other, which is our, I think, original, like, traditional cover. Illyria looking, like, very heroine chic. You know, it looks like she's been all zombified like the rest of everybody, but that's kind of misleading. But for the variant, I think it's the variant anyway, we've got Angel, who is steering the ship even though it's on fire and he's got places to be. But before we get into it, previously on Angel.
Angel and Illyria went to Ireland to do what they thought was a routine exorcism, but then it wasn't like a poltergeist that they were dealing with. It was actually this external, like extra-dimensional force that was like pouring through this breach in reality. There were all like this swarm of bugs, and then there was this flower monster, and we don't really know what any of this is about. The only thing that we do know is that Illyria and Angel understand that it has something to do with Angel's past and some kind of decision that he made in the past, and so they go jaunting through time, and they don't end up in Angel's past, they actually end up in Illyria's like super-duper past, and they deal with some emotional bullshit from there, but side effect is they seem to have changed the Buffyverse timeline. So once they get everything settled there, Illyria, like OG Illyria, sends them through time to where Angel was Angelus with Darla on the ship that was heading from Australia back to Europe. They found this, like, beetle in a box that looks just like the beetle that was hanging out outside of Angel's hotel room before the whole swarm of bugs came out. Angel and Angelus and Darla and Fred were all fighting over the box of beetle, and then, like, the beetle got out, and it started turning all of the different crew members on the ship that they're on into zombies right before pirates attacked the ship, and then Angelus and Darla got thrown onto a lifeboat by Illyria, like, 2 hours before dawn, and now they're just like, what the heck's going to happen to Angelus, because, you know, he's eventually going to be Angel.
That's pretty much what you need to know, and so without further ado, let's jump into Angel Season 11, Issue number 7. It is Time and Tide, Part 3. And we're gonna ring the bell every time it's like, holy crap! Here we go.
Shall we begin?
Opens up right where we left off with Angel questioning Illyria about throwing his past self into, 2 hours away from daylight, basically, but Illyria's not having any of it. She said, I wasn't exactly about to let my host body get turned into a vampire. Like, Fred could have been turned into a vampire, and God knows what that's gonna do to me. Angel insists that he wouldn't have let that happen, but Illyria is saying, you are just as matched as Angelus. You think you have, like, more experience or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, it didn't look like you were doing anything to keep me from getting my soul all sucked out. So whatever, Illyria, like, glitches out and doesn't want to finish the conversation, and Fred says, hey, it's crazy, we need to be worried about the fact that you, your past self, and Darla are about to be totally toast out there, but Angel says they've got their wits about them, they'll be able to deal with whatever's going on, and it is a real problem, but we have a very real problem going on here as well. And that problem is, as much as they want to make sure that Angelus gets to eventually be Angel and get a soul and all the extra, the fact of the matter is they are on a burning ship. Holy crap! So the ship is on fire, and it is full of all of these zombified by the beetle monsters, pirates, and like just regular crew members. And what Angel needs to do is make sure that the boat gets turned around, because now the ship is headed to shore, which is going to be like a lot of badness for whatever shore that they end up on. Holy crap! So the ship captain comes up to Angel and Fred and says, I need you guys to help me get control of the ship because we can't get these guys to shore with all the craziness and extra. So the original guy who knew about the crazy zombie-making beetle monster, he has taken control of the ship, and he says, oh, you can't take the ship, this is our destiny, etc., etc. And Angel says, screw your destiny, I'm gonna get rid of you. So just as the captain gets control of the wheel and Angel gets control of the zombified crew member, whoop-de-doo, the captain gets all zombified himself. Holy crap! So Fred gets control of the wheel as the captain is getting all zombified, okay? So the zombified captain goes after Fred, but Angel stops him, but then the zombified captain catches fire, okay? Because the whole ship's on fire, and he starts going after Angel. All of this fighting is going down, but then Fred is not at the wheel, and it's where is Fred as Angel is being taken down by these flaming zombie pirate guys, alright? Holy crap! Stuff happens, the ship starts sinking, Fred is nowhere to be found, Angel is about to be thrown out into sea with no cover from sunlight when then, wham bam poof, Illyria shows up, she's like, I got you girl. So Illyria sank the ship that they are on to make sure that the pirate zombie guys all go to the bottom of the ocean like was the original situation in history, but she also sank the pirate ship that they were supposed to go and get to shore on, and Angel is freaking out. But by this point, they know that because of Angel's second set of memories, that Angelus and Darla have figured out a way to obscure themselves from sunlight, and they're actually gonna be okay. And Illyria says, why do you put so little credit in yourself? Why do you think that your past self is somehow smarter than you with all of your experience now? You need to give yourself some more credit and understand that this situation is bigger than the two of us. And so Illyria has a plan. She actually swims out with Angel to this lifeboat. But of course, by the time they get to the lifeboat, Illyria has switched back into Fred, and Angel and Fred are talking about the fact that Illyria seems to know a lot more about what's going on than just what she's letting on, and the next time that Illyria decides to make herself known, they really need to sit down and have a convo with her. Angel and Fred get on the lifeboat. She's trying to protect him from the sunlight by putting up this barrier, but they are in an open sea, and they are just kind of weighing their options, trying to figure out a way to figure out what the heck is going on. While they're trying to figure out what the heck is what, their seas start getting really choppy, but there are no waves, okay? They decide to use their magic bowl majigger to try and put water in it and communicate with Sophronia and Lavinia back in our time to try and figure out where they are and where they need to be headed, because they're just basically in the middle of the ocean. But then all of a sudden the rocky seas start getting even more rocky. Holy crap! And it turns out that it's not waves at all, it's actually the zombified pirate guys and crew guys coming to get them on the lifeboat. Holy shit! And that's where we end the issue. Alright, so I'm finally getting to enjoy Angel Season 11. The first arc, I wasn't here for it. The first issue of this arc, I wasn't really here for it, but last issue, I was starting to appreciate the dynamic between Angel and Fred a lot more, and in this issue, I'm really appreciating the dynamic between Angel and Illyria, and I really do wish that we had been able to explore Illyria and Fred both being themselves, but having to share a body in the show. I feel like the dynamic that they've created between Angel and Illyria is so far removed from the relationship between Angel and Fred, that it's just fascinating to watch the differences in the fact that both of them have great ideas, and both of them are basically helping Angel get to where he needs to go, but they have very different ideologies and ideas about how to get there. And so this entire issue, whenever we have dialogue, there's kind of a lot of dialogue, but there's not a shit ton of dialogue in the issue. It's mostly action, and I love the action. And something that I've never really talked about is Michelle Madsen. She does amazing colors. In this issue in particular, with the firelight and everything that's going on, the lighting on all of the characters, the shading is just gorgeous. And like, we have these orange hues on everyone's face because of the firelight. I mean, everything around them is on fire. And there are a few images of Fred in particular where she just looks gorgeous. Like the fire against her brown eyes, they have this like amber color to them, and it makes so much sense. Like, it's really gorgeous to look at. The use of color, and even when we get out of the fire, like the color out in the ocean and in the just daylight, it's really beautiful. And I feel like I haven't given Michelle Madsen as much love as I ought to have, but the color is gorgeous here. And I'm not the biggest fan of the art style when it comes to Angel. I don't necessarily love the way that they've drawn Angel, but I do prefer it to the first arc. And but Fred, I love the art for Fred. I think she looks so spunky and fun, and I really am hearing more of David Boreanaz and Amy Acker in the book. Like, in my head when I'm reading it, I really do hear more of like the punchy dialogue and the way that it would roll off of their tongues. The dialogue and the interactions between the characters are almost spot on, and I'm really enjoying it. I love what Illyria says about having all this faith in Angelus to get where he needs to go, but somehow he doubts himself. It says a lot about what I feel like the season is really talking about coming to terms with your past and understanding that who you are now is in fact better and kind of more productive and more benevolent and even smarter and more intelligent than who you were yesterday, because that's kind of Illyria's whole thing. Like, Illyria, where we met Illyria was very much, what I was is better than what I am. And Angel is saying that what he is less than what he was, because when he was a vampire, at least he was a vampire. And now that he's a vampire with a soul, he doesn't want to be himself, and he also thinks less of himself for his actions when he like wasn't himself, if that makes sense. So like, all of this time that we have this soulless, Angelus character, Angel lives with that. He remembers everything from that, and so he thinks even less of himself as a like current person because of his past actions. But he's a character who really doesn't give himself credit. It's like in season 5 when Cordelia says, "You are always trying to save every single person on the face of the earth, and did it ever occur to you that you might be one of them?" And the fact of the matter is, Angel is a person. He has a soul. He lives a life. It's an unlife, but it's a life, and it's his. And she tells him, "You made the list, gorgeous. Like, you get to be a person. You may not always like who you've been, but you can appreciate who you are." And that's kind of what we're getting from Illyria in this, and the fact that there is so much action, but we can stop and say, look at yourself and appreciate yourself for who you are. I feel like that's what season 11 is really going to be about. Like, season 9 was about appreciating your mistakes and taking ownership of those mistakes, and season 10 was about your mistakes not being the end all and be all, because there's this greater community around you. Whereas in season 11, it seems to be more like not just accepting your fate and taking your lot and taking your lumps and trying to atone, but really appreciating yourself for who you are and for where you've come from and all of the real effort it's taken to become who the fuck you are, And so I really am digging this kind of, not necessarily atonement, but self-actualization, self-realization that's going on for both Illyria and Angel. And we've had that for Illyria in the first arc, and we've had that for Angel in the second arc. And I really want us to really affirm Fred as her character in the third arc. I think we really need to get back to Fred and what makes her tick as a character. She's been fun, she's been quippy and funny and resourceful like Fred should be, but Fred's self-worth and her self-identity and appreciating the Illyrian parts of herself as well as the Fred parts of herself, and the fact that she does in fact have this life ahead of her for, you know, maybe the normal human span, but we really need to get Fred to accept her new lot in life, very much like we've done for Angelus, or not Angelus, but Angel and Illyria so far. And in the first arc, I felt a lot like Illyria was trying to make good on what it had previously done, and that it was trying to change something about itself. And in this instance, Illyria is saying, you have the power to change. You have the power to grab history by the balls. And that's what Angel really needs to understand. Like, you can't be dictated by the past. And he started to realize that in the last issue, but now that Illyria is telling him these deeper things, I feel like he's really starting to kind of get there. And so I really enjoyed this issue, you guys. It was fun, and it was poignant, and it was exciting. Like, everything on the boat, it's fire everywhere, and everybody's just running around, it's chaos, and the zombie beetles, and the zombies coming up on the lifeboat. It's fun. And even though we have gotten away from Sephoria and Lavinia, the fact that they are still mentioning Sophie and Vin, it's there for me. Like, it's just there for me, because I love those bitches, and I need to see them more, and just a shout out to them. It works. So yeah, guys, I am coming around on Angel Season 11, but please let me know what you thought of Angel Season 11, Issue number 7, It's Time and Tide, Part 3, in the comment section down below. I'm Preston L. Young, and I hope you're having a great 2017 so far, everybody. You can come right back here to the Buffyngton Post anytime for Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews, Angel and Frederia Cruising Through Time reviews, Angel and Faith reviews, more Game of Thrones episode reviews, Buffyverse discussions on the other Slayers, and more. Have yourself a great day today. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, question. See you next time. Bye.
My BFF Joe 730.
Joking on the nonsense, sipping on 40 ounces again. Gum, we got the busted rum. All night we high, get up the back to where 99. I give up my nigga to give us a play, yo. Double up, nigga, what you need? We got what you need, yo. Me for the green lady, give it up for the first show, but it lay low. Cause the bump up people that roll so low. You can't get away, but it don't stay, yeah, yo. Keep your bankroll. We having a celebration to stay high. You can never leave, but it's time to grind. I'm down for mine, crime after crime. Better creep to the back, cause mom's got a glove on the grill. If we got the food, you know it's the first of the one, and my nigga, we chill for real. Wake up, it's my first to wake up.
Holy shit!